Yo, what's good? It's Casper. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Tulsa King Season 2, Episode 7. Season 2, Episode 7 is called Life Support, 40 minutes, directed by Kevin Dowling. This episode was highly anticipated because the dramatic ending of seeing Tyson see his dad blow up in the Navigators, it being called Life Support, one of those things where you could have guessed like maybe he did survive, Tyson's dad, Mark. The fact that we're looking forward to seeing what happened, especially with Tyson and the whole family in general. We also want to see what's going on with his Mafia family as well. Literally dodged a bullet. So in this episode, we're seeing more how the aftermath of seeing the Navigator explode, piece by piece, we're seeing a little bit more of all these people around Manfredi's life are confused as well, just as Manfredi is, of who blew up this Navigator. While we're figuring out who is responsible for this, we're seeing Tyson and his family go through such a dramatic event in their lives that I could only imagine how it was going to be presented to us. First of all, I really enjoyed the acting by Jay Will, aka Tyson. A lot of the emotions felt very raw towards every character versus every person that was approached to him. The characteristics of seeing Tyson deal with a lot of people in his life, especially his mom, are very visible, straightforward to the viewers on like, wow, like the mom really doesn't really like her son Tyson right now. A lot of the emotions in this episode are very believable. I would like to say that this episode is definitely characterized by experience and non-experience, especially with the characters Tyson and Manfredi. We see more experience with Manfredi, and you see the more of not too experienced with Tyson. Manfredi is letting Tyson know, like, we can't retaliate like this. We got a hot-headed Tyson in this episode really trying to do things in his own hands, and his emotions are making him not really think clearly, and a lot of his decision making in this episode you kind of get nervous with, and you just hope Tyson is not going to do anything pretty much dumb or anything stupid that's going to make this whole Mafia family feel very discouraged by him. Not only that, his own family in this episode already is disowning him. Very cool to see that Tyson's dad did make it, and we get to see Mark continue on and live. The lines between Mark and Tyson, I thought that was a very emotional scene and a very touching scene as well. Very good scene between him and Mitch in this episode, where Mitch and Tyson are talking about trying to take out people. Mitch is letting Tyson know he's gonna live with that feeling for the rest of his life. Mafia family is letting him know, like, hey, we're looking out for you, please don't do anything dumb. So good writing in this episode concerning Tyson, and the fact that Tyson now has to live with these thoughts that are literally weighing him down. Very good character development with Tyson's character in here. The fact that we see Tyson do some very dumb things in this episode just made this whole episode just raise up the anxiety and raise up the blood pressure like crazy. And what new things are we going to end up seeing, especially from Tyson trying to do things in his own way? We also got Manfredi's own family, like his daughter, now having to relocate because this car explosion brought a lot of paranoia to Manfredi. Now Manfredi is basically telling his daughter Tina, hey, pack your bags and you gotta get out of here right now just for your own safety. A lot of scenarios in here with Manfredi's presence where you're like, oh, this is about to get good. Manfredi ends up meeting with Cal Thresher, and Cal Thresher is confused on this car bombing as well, just to find out that his partners, the Chinese Mafia, the boss, is responsible for this. So now Manfredi is on a hunt to figure out where's this white Prius coming from and who's responsible for driving that. Now Cal Thresher knows that his own partners are responsible for it, so Cal Thresher is in some heat. Very interesting scenarios that we're about to see play out, because now Cal Thresher now is dealing with people in his own partnership that are making moves without him even knowing. New people are trying to rise and gain power, like that Mafia Chinese leader dude. He's the definition of no F's are given. This dude would take out anybody, literally anytime, any place. This episode is kind of graphic in some moments, so watch out for that, but the anticipation and the thrill of it and the crime of it is like, yo, that's insane. This dude here, what is going on with this guy? How is this gonna end up unfolding, especially with him? Manfredi did mention to Cal Thresher, if it's either of your working goons, Cal Thresher, you about to really go through some stuff. We see Armand as well. Every time Manfredi comes up to the picture, he's sweating. Manfredi is figuring out bit by bit that Armand is a little suspicious right now. Armand is slowly building up to something that's not looking good for him at all. The fact that we also have Margaret in here building up that flirty, love, and interested role and attraction to Manfredi. I'm really liking more of those lines being actually presented and more obvious. It's interesting to know that Manfredi also has a girl that's very interested in him now, and the fact that Manfredi is doing all these mobster things, even though he doesn't tell Margaret what's going on, Margaret still finds out because she knows Cal Thresher and she watches the news. But very interesting love little thing that's going on between them. So let's see how that unfolds. We also go back and forth with Bill. Bill is trying to figure out who's the one responsible for this navigator explosion as well. I really like Bill's lines in this episode because it really showed how much of a different side of a boss he is. His lines and his persona and a lot of the way he holds himself down. It is like a badass look, more of like a biker look, I would say. But I really liked his lines in this episode because some of the lines were pretty funny, and the way he was talking to his men, I thought it was pretty funny how he approached it and responded back to them, knowing like, hey, even though I'm talking to my people, like, you guys are not the future tellers of my plans, and you guys need to really think before making any actions happen. Bill's building up to a very strong evil character right now, where I'm really enjoying just those confident, strong, impactful lines. Even though we're seeing a lot of cool mafia mobster lifestyle stuff in here, where you're just seeing the whole aspect of what a gangster would deal with, the clothes, the personal life, and all the behind the scenes planning on making moves work. I really enjoyed in this episode the funny lines in here. There was moments in this episode where it brought us to funny moments where I'm like, this is why I enjoyed the first season as well. It was kind of funny. We see a season 1 returnee. We see the homie Paul return. If you guys remember Paul, he helped Manfredi get his driver's license from the first season. Paul is back. A little cool, maybe 5-minute interaction with Manfredi in here. I thought it was hilarious because that was an out of nowhere moment, but Paul is back. Paul ended up out of nowhere getting involved with Manfredi's shenanigans again, so very hilarious. The type of cool, feel-good country music that they were playing in this episode really gave this whole episode a good flow. Very interesting to see what's going to happen with Chicky, because even his own men in here are not very impressed with how Chicky's running that mafia family. We do have Vince in here going to meet with the OGs to basically get an approval and tell the OGs that Chicky did not deserve that role he's in, basically the head honcho. The Wii shop is closing up, packing their stuff right now because war is starting to build up and tensions are starting to arise. Almost every single one I've been watching so far leaves us at a cliffhanger where it's like, oh wow, I can't believe it ended like that. And this was another episode that can't believe ended like that. All around good vibe. Camera direction was great. Really like the director putting those B-roll shots in this episode, adding a little bit more of those B-roll shots in these episodes, make this Tulsa King show feel a little bit more fuller on the flow and transitions, and rather than not just feeling like we're just showing up to these moments. After my watching the 7th episode of the 2nd season of Tulsa King, out of 10, I'm gonna have to give this episode a 10 out of 10. So that's my review for the 7th episode of Tulsa King season 2. Shout out to you guys for tuning into the video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.